I don't even know if I've ever talked about this on YouTube.
Who's that?
What?
Who's that?
You?
They're staring at us. What do you want? What's that?
No, thank you. So apparently this is gonna be a half mukbang, mukbang. How do you say that?
A what?
A mukbang, something? 1, 2. You stopped eating. You didn't have to stop eating. What's up, fam? Welcome back to another one of our videos. We are doing Vlogmas. This is Vlogmas Day. I lost count. So today's video is gonna be a little bit different. Most of the time with me and Chris, well, first of all, we can't get Chris to sit down for very many videos, so this is an honor. Thank you for joining us today on this channel. So today's video we wanted to make a little bit differently. It's gonna be sort of like a Q&A, but we're gonna talk more about like some serious topics that we've come across in the past. Like, why was that funny?
Nothing. You missed it.
Or whether it be like comments or questions. I don't really have an angle for how this video is gonna go, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. How do we start? I don't know what to say. We're just gonna have a chat. This is gonna be like a chatty sesh with Jess and Chris. Chris and Jess. Oh, a chatty sesh with Chris and Jess.
Oh God.
Well, one thing that I know that we have not talked about in quite some time, and I have steered away from this topic for a long time for, I don't know why, I haven't really talked about it, but so many people have asked about, well, okay, so if you don't know, Chris and I both were previously married. Both of those marriages ended because of cheating. And so I have people still to this day reaching out to me about cheating and how you handle that situation and what that was like. And it's so weird now because it's like, it's such a far back memory. So to revisit it is just strange. Do you have any advice for?
Go with your gut. I just remember being in that situation and trying to ignore what was really happening like inside my head to not believe it.
Oh, you try to talk yourself out of that?
Yeah.
So that you try to give like an excuse for
it to like work. Especially when you're like when you're in it, like when you're right there in the middle, it's really hard.
I actually walked in the act, well I shouldn't say in the act, like right after the act. There was no, maybe we should do an advisory before this video. This is not necessarily gonna be a kid-friendly part. There was like clothes were not there. And I was, at the time I was 6 months pregnant with the twins, and it was 3 weeks after we got married. So we recently married, it was in my house. I was at school, I was in college. So how I found out,
Sneaky.
I think we were both sneaky. I think, but here's why, okay? I think that if you were being cheated on, for the most part, you have an idea. Yeah. It's not like, oh my God, I had no idea. I just happened to watch. And maybe that does happen. I'm sure that it does happen. But in my situation, I kind of knew. You have
to, I really feel like you have to be really naive to not know anything.
There's usually signs.
Yeah. And
so for me, I didn't notice those signs. I think that there were so many red flags beforehand that I didn't catch because I was naive in my own world of like, I want this to work. I was already pregnant. We had a marriage plan, like a wedding plan. I don't even know if I've ever talked about this on YouTube. When I like walked in, the face of the person is just like, now it's funny because at the time like you're devastated, the hurt. Oh my God.
I got one of those faces.
The betrayal, and oh gosh, my heart goes out to you if you have ever caught your significant other in the act, because it's not pleasant. Yeah. Looking back at it now, it's like, you know, so here's my advice: try to not miss the red flags. If there's a red flag, it's a red flag. It's not like, I don't know how to explain that, but
that's why I said, just trust your gut.
Yeah. If you think that you're being cheated on, you probably are, because you're probably picking up on some signs. So this was years ago. How old are the twins? 6? So like probably almost 7 years ago now. Oh no, exactly, because it was December. It was 3 weeks after we got married. We got married in November. So literally it was exactly almost 7 years ago. That's crazy. Oh my God, 7 years.
You're talking about it.
The way that I found out And then I want to get in your story too, because yours is funny too. But the way, funny, I say funny, and I say this, I hope nobody gets offended. I think it's because it's such a far back memory, and we're in like the happily ever after stage now. Looking back at it, we're able to laugh it off now because we already went through all of the stages of like hurt and betrayal and sadness and anger and all that. And so now it's just like a far gone memory. So it's not funny though. If you're in the situation, like I'm not making fun of the situation. It's just, anyway, I had an idea. I think it's mostly like the text message thing. He wouldn't let me look in his phone, weird things like that. Phone hiding and. Because
everything was in Snapchat, and back then when Snapchat like first came out, you couldn't like, now you can like kind of
Snapchat, like, social media.
Yeah, I know, it was like way easier to like hide things when it first came out.
So yours was Snapchat.
It turned into a no Snapchat rule. Well, she was working late, but then it was taking 2 hours to get home, and then, yeah.
What I ended up doing, how I actually found out, and this is like some like crazy girlfriend status, except I was his wife.
This is stuff you read on a Facebook article.
But I found this app. It was a website back then, because this is like, I mean, there was obviously like cell phones and stuff, but I'm sure our iPhones were already up, but we didn't have iPhones. It wasn't like the stage where like everybody and their mother had an iPhone. It was like flip phone status. Like I think we barely first had our very first smartphones. And I went onto an app called Spy Bubble. I don't even know if this thing still exists. And I had to pay for it. It was like $30 or something. And it was a code that you put into their, some hacker, like weird, like crazy ex-girlfriend type stuff. But within 15 minutes of putting it, like I think he was sleeping and I like went and put it in his phone. And obviously this was not for no reason. So I put it in his phone, and within 15 minutes of me leaving the house, I already knew I was being cheated on. Like the texts. Wow. And it would be like one text to me, like, oh, I love you so much, I can't wait till you get home. And the following text would be like, when are you coming over? So.
Damn.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. And there's like so much more, but that I'm not going to get into. It's like unnecessary. I think that says enough. I actually planned going back. When I knew that I was being cheated on, that same night, I was following, because the website would like update every 15 minutes about what texts were being sent and received. And I purposely planned it to where I would show up at home when she was there. I don't know what I was, because I'm not a confrontational person. I don't know what I was thinking. And what happened when I walked in and saw this, I didn't even really say anything. Like going back, I'm like, I have so much that I could have said that I should have said. But in reality, I think I was only 19. I was pregnant and I was newly married. My whole life was turning upside down, and I just didn't want to actually believe that it was happening. And so in the moment, I was just like, I think I told her to leave, and then I was just sad, and that was it. I wish I said so much more.
I would say for you to even do something like that, being 19, is pretty good, pretty resourceful.
I don't know how I even got the balls to like get there, because that was tough, because you already knew it was happening. In
my situation, I was actually working in another state, and I had called that night to basically say goodnight to like Tommy and Kaden, and then talk to her for a little bit. And the conversation led into, I think we should take a break or something along those lines. I literally, like that same night, I ended up flying back home. So
you're crazy too, we're both crazy.
I ended up flying back home. It was my birthday weekend, and I was planning on coming home early anyways to just spend an extra day or whatever with everybody for my birthday.
With your family.
So I ended up coming back that same night that we had the conversation, and I stayed at a friend's house. I don't remember exactly how I figured it out, but there was a house party. And
at your house?
Yeah, at my house that we were renting from my parents. This was the house that I grew up in for 20 years that this happened. So I didn't like just walk in straight through the front door, because there was like a lot of people there that I did not know inside my house. So I ended up walking through the side gate to the backyard, and we had a pool at the house. It was a really nice pool. It had the jacuzzi like overseeing the rest of the pool, so it like waterfalled in and everything. And I turned the corner, and it was just like it was just happening.
In the jacuzzi?
Yeah, just happening right there.
Oh, I cannot even like envision that. That is so crazy. Fast forward on a more positive note, when we met each other, oddly enough, this was something that we like really connected on. We were both like, oh, you were cheated on? So was I. Oh, you walked in? Oh, so was I. And so like right off the bat, mine and Chris's relationship moved really fast. Like I don't think that's any secret.
Yeah.
We met each other in September, yeah. And we were married the next August. So it went really fast. Like it went pretty fast. Within a year we were married. But I think kind of the reason why is, for one, like when you have kids, things are just, it's either it needs to work or it needs to not work. Like I had 4 kids, he had 2 kids.
If you already have kids or you're with somebody who has kids, I genuinely believe if it does not work out right away, if you don't feel comfortable enough to introduce your kids to somebody quickly, because I mean,
within reason, of course, like
not like same day or same night or whatever.
No, and like you're not just gonna bring anybody around. But here's the way I saw it personally. I brought my friends around my kids. Like my kids don't know that he's my boyfriend. It wasn't like, oh hey kids, here's your dad. It wasn't like that at all. It was just like, okay, let's just get together. We'll get our kids together. Here's your new friends. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, not, you don't see your friends, but like our kids got along really great. They were so young. They didn't understand that I was dating. They didn't understand that it wasn't like that. And so when all of our kids clicked and all of our values clicked, it just kind of like went from there.
You kind of want to know too, if somebody you're potentially going to be with is going to get along with your kids, or your kids are going to like them. There's no point in moving forward in a relationship. If you invest X amount of time and then they end up not liking your kids, or vice versa, then why, like, what are you doing?
Exactly. That's how I saw it. Some people will be like, oh, I can't believe you would bring like your boyfriend around your kids so early. But like, if you have any new friend, it's not like you're saying, hi, this is my boyfriend, guys. It's not like that. You're not like sitting there kissing in front of the children. Like it's not. And so I think it's kind of, when people say that, that's not how it works.
That's not very realistic.
And when you have, like I had 4 kids and he had 2 kids, pretty much day one, we set down boundaries and we were like, this is what I want out of this relationship or a relationship. Are you down or are you not? And we like had the same ideas, and I think that was, so we just got lucky. So my advice to anyone who is single or like looking to date and they have kids and whatnot is to just put everything on the table. I mean, I straight up was like, this sounds crazy. It really does, but this is just what's worked for us. Day one, you can always look at my phone. I can always look at your phone. We were both cheated on. We both knew how it felt. So relationship wise, we had like rules and boundaries, and we both agreed on that from day one. When it came to the kids, we had rules and boundaries as far as like my kids, your kids, which now we don't, I feel like we don't, it's like blended well. And so like he'll discipline my kids. I don't really discipline your kids, only because, well, for one, they're really good kids, so most of the time I'll let him handle that stuff. But when it comes to discipline, the boys specifically, you're kind of like their only,
it's really hard being like one of the main parents in a child's life when that other, not you, but like when the other parent is pretty much like not involved at all. It's really hard to not help and step in with like discipline or just taking care of like day-to-day things. It almost just comes naturally because I was already a dad. I raised boys, so I kind of knew like how everything was already running. And a lot of people have pointed out over the years your relationship with like Lilia, for example, and they say it seems like Lilia is treated differently. And for one, I think it's what you're saying, like he already raised boys, he already knew how to raise boys, so it came easier. Not to mention that they were younger, and it's not that he loves Lilia any less. Honestly, Gabe is just really involved. And she has a dad that's very involved. Yeah, on top of his involvement, I never raised a girl. I honestly just like flat out, I honestly had no idea how to even parent a girl. Because she was older, it was really hard for me because I grew up being an only child. I didn't have any step or blended family at all. Coming into this just with that experience, life experience, was really hard to even begin with. That's like somebody just like adopting like a 5-year-old girl, and it's like, okay, take care of her.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, and I think added on to that, not to make this weird, but like when you're a man, a grown man in a little girl's life, you kind of feel like you can't really do much without being like, what is considered appropriate? Is that the right word?
Yeah, cause like, you know, like with the boys and stuff, like I think I roughhouse with them since like day one.
Yeah, that's like how boys bond, you know, and she's never been like that, and so.
She was, every time we would be doing so, I swear she would always like be in her own like little thing, like playing with a Barbie or something. It's like, I don't even know what a Barbie is. I'm not even.
And he would like touch it, but I honestly feel like having Addie has helped your relationship with Lilia. Because already she's like this like super girly, sensitive, and he's having a hard time adjusting to that too. But I think it helps him understand Lilia more.
It's hard. And
they've never been on bad terms. So, but I definitely don't think it was like a parent-child click from day one. And maybe that sounds bad, but I think it just wasn't.
Now that I think about it, it kind of comes off as raising like a child that is like 100% yours, where over the years, your child learns to love and trust you, and you have to learn and trust them and their decisions. So I kind of feel like the years that I've been around has been basically that like zero, like the baby stage to now is kind of how I see it, to where
the bonding.
Yeah, like the bonding time, I guess you could say.
You had to. It was more of a slow down.
I had to acclimate myself to. Raising a girl.
Yeah, an older girl who has a dad who's very, so yeah, the whole situation I think was just very different. So people have noticed that over the years, and they're not wrong, but I mean, you do feel differently towards her, but it's not an I love her less situation. Yeah. Like, just to be completely real, like, it is different. It's just, it is. It's just something that I see a lot. People have a lot of comments, but blending a family of 7 kids is not easy. And I think we make it look easy, but
it feels like brain surgery.
Yeah.
I swear.
You have 7 different personalities, 7 different lifestyles. Like,
and let me tell you, not a single one is remotely the same as far as emotion, discipline, eating, sleeping, bathing, nothing. Everything, literally everything is different.
And we have to manage our relationships with each individual child, as well as their relationships with each individual person in that. That's 9 different relationships that we're managing. You know, not 9. What's 9 times 9?
81.
81, that is 81 relationships that we're managing on an almost daily basis. It's a lot if you think about it that way, because we're constantly thinking about Kyson's relationship with Caden, Landon, Lilia, because, you know, all those plus us. It's tough. And we have to try to remember who ate last. We have to try to make sure their homework's done. It's tough. And I think...
You know what I do? Tag.
It did not hit me. I was gonna tweet this actually recently. I think I forgot, ran out of time. But it hit me recently, because people always say, you have such a big family, how do you manage? Isn't it hard? In the baby years, it was so hard, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. And so I figured it was gonna get easier, and I think it's getting harder. It hit me like a week ago. I don't know why, my brain was just going, and I was like, holy crap, what did I get myself into? Having 7 babies, because when we met, all of our kids were under the age of 4 or 5? 5. And now we have ages 2 to ages 9. Hormones are starting to get involved.
Oh man, yeah.
We're crazy. We're crazy. We're absolutely crazy, but we're doing it. We're trying. So it's hard. It's so hard. Don't let us fool you by our videos, because it is hard. And I think we are so lucky in terms of our kids genuinely get along. We really are lucky, because our kids really, and like, some of them obviously, like, they fight. They have like little sibling fights, but we do not have any single relationship where it's like, this is not working. Yeah. So I think we really have a benefit in that way. I love his kids love me. My kids are like all of the crisscross boundaries. I think we're lucky enough because the other parents involved are not making it as hard as I've like heard some people like the ex-wife makes it a really bad situation.
It could be a total nightmare.
And it's not. Like, his ex-wife is a great mom, and she's involved in their life. And it's the same thing with Lilia. And then in terms of the boy's dad, this sounds kind of bad, but he's like so absent that it doesn't affect it in that way.
It's a negative that turned into a positive.
Right. So I think that the dynamic is like so crazy, but we're managing it or figuring it out. So I feel like we got way deeper than we said. That was good. So if you guys have any other topics of conversation, go ahead and leave those down in the comments and maybe we'll do this again. We had no plan. We're like, oh, we're gonna start talking.
Sat down and
just
had
talk.
tea time.
Tea time with Chris and Jess. So anyway, leave us your feedback down below. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know any thoughts you have on any of these situations. Got real deep. Thank you guys so much for joining us on today's Vlogmas video. It wasn't very holiday themed, but that's okay.
Just add some snowflakes coming down.
So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a
fantastic day.
we'll talk to you guys tomorrow in our next Vlogmas video.